Every time we roll or sprain our ankle, we're told to do two things. We're told to rest and we're told to ice it. In reality, there's very few cases where that is the right thing to do. Most often, we need to start moving it almost immediately with a few low-level exercises to get blood flow in there and to get the bad fluid out of there. What I want to do today is I want to show you a few things you can do right away post-ankle sprain to get that thing healing way faster, and you can still use things like ice, ibuprofen, compression, but I want you to pair that up with active movements because there's nothing worse than letting it sit for 6 to 8 weeks versus getting it moving almost right away. I'll give you some guidelines and I'm going to go over just a few things that you can do almost immediately. First is going to be an ankle car. What I want you to do is grab your shin and make a big circle with your ankle. I don't want the shin to move. Now, if you're coming off an ankle sprain, you don't need to make it a very big range of motion. You might start slow with a pain-free motion and just start here. Get a few reps in each direction. What I usually recommend is we do 10 reps every couple hours to just start getting it moving right away. CARs stand for controlled articular rotations, which means we're just making small joint circles with the joint that we're trying to work. Now your second movement you can start doing on day one, or you can wait a few days once you've gotten better with CARs. On the affected ankle, we're going to be half kneeling and we're going to push the knee forward till we feel some pain or discomfort and come back. This motion is called Dorsy Flexion. This means we're bringing our toes closer to our shin or our shin closer to our toes. We're going to repeatedly move back and forth, called about 15 to 20 reps for a few sets, but we just want to start getting motion in the joint in a loaded position, and you can do these right after doing your CARs. Now the rules are with this is I don't want you to push through too much pain. It's almost like touching a hot stove. I feel discomfort, I come off. I feel discomfort, I come off. You might notice that window gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more you start doing it. The last thing I like to add in for an ankle sprain are low-level calf raises. You don't have to do them standing. In fact, what we're going to do is do them from a seated position. So from seated, you can put hands on your knees to add a little extra weight, but you're just going to try to raise up on your toes and come back down. Now you can do it with just the ankle that's affected, or you can do it with both ankles, but the same rules apply like we did with the repeated Dorsy Flexion. I want pressure, and then come back down. You might feel a little discomfort, and come back down. All we're doing is trying to get motion right in the ankle, try to get things moving, try to reduce the amount of inflammation that we're taking on and getting rid of all that bad fluid. Now just to recap, there are a few cases where you do need to rest. You do need to get a brace. You do need to limit movement. That's why it's so important to go get consulted by a physician, chiropractor, PT, orthopedic, whatever it might be. But you can start moving it a lot sooner, assuming all things are ruled out in terms of fracture or any major issues. This is not medical advice for all cases, but this was meant to show light on, hey, even if it's just an ankle sprain, you can move it a lot sooner than you think. So the big three things you can do: ankle CARs, repeated Dorsy Flexion, and calf raises, all within a pain-free motion. You should notice over a few days that pain becomes less and less and less the more you move.